Hey folks, Matt here, SEP 301. Today is a Freestyle Friday assignment, but I want you to follow these little guidelines here. What we're going to do is we're going to build a slider that does more than just change one thing like the color. We're actually going to change position on the screen on the canvas using a slider. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this canvas a little wider and a little shorter, 600, 200. Let's make the background black so we can see a little better. And just like we've done before, I'm going to make a variable called slider, set it equal to 0. And we do three things: create a variable, set it equal to a create element, and then we use the value of that element to do something. So the second step, we're going to say slider equals create slider, and then we need three numbers. We need a minimum, maximum, and where the slider starts. So in this case, I'm going to use the slider to move a shape on the screen. I'm going to change a shape's X position on the screen. So we would do 0, and because my canvas is 600 pixels wide, I'm going to make 600 the maximum for my slider. And then I'm going to start my slider at 0. So my shape starts over here at the edge of the drawing. Now, all we need to do to make this actually happen is draw an ellipse, and we are going to change the ellipse location. Now for that I need a variable, and right now I just need an X variable. So let's set X up here, another variable, equal to 0. We're going to use that variable X in the ellipse's X position. Now for the Y, this is a 200 tall canvas, so let's put it in the middle. That would be 100. And I don't know, we can make it 50 by 50. You can change that later if you want. So now what do we have? We've got a slider. Presumably the slider value is going from 0 to 600 this time. We can't see that right now. And we have an ellipse at X, which is 0. So what we need to do is tie the value of X to the slider. And we do that using the slider.value command. And so right underneath the ellipse, inside the function draw, we can say X equals slider.value, open close parentheses, semicolon. And that should tie our slider's value to the position of the ellipse, which is the X variable. Let's run it. And now, as you can see, as I move the slider with my mouse, I am moving the shape on the screen. This could be used to make an interactive sort of design piece on a web page, or it could be used as a game. And you can build interactive virtual controllers for a game using sliders, buttons, text. And we're going to build on this next week. So what I want you to do is build this, what we just built just now, pretty easy, and now customize it and add one more thing for slider value, and I would suggest maybe trying some fill color or something like that. Watch this. I'll do a fill color with 200, X, and then 200, and let's see what happens. Now you can see I've got a fill color, but as I move the slider, you can see the ellipse changes color based on where it is on the screen because I've tied the slider's value to X, and I'm also using X in the fill. It's a variable that goes from 0 to 600. Now 600 is overkill for a color, but that's okay. It does change it like light green to pink, so that's kind of cool. You could also tie X to the background. What if we did 255 50 X for a background color? Watch what happens now. It's pretty cool. We've got a changing background and a changing ellipse. You can use X in a lot of other things too. What if we use X for the size of our ellipse? XX, that'd be crazy. Look at that. It's kind of neat. If you don't want it to get that big on the screen, you can always divide X by something. Divided by 2. Divided by 2. Now it stays a little more on the screen. You can do things like, oh, what if I want to do no stroke, so I don't have the black line around my ellipse? That kind of looks neat. Kind of a weird colored thing going on with your eyes here. You know, we're getting some cool stuff. You could even copy this ellipse and change it to, like, you know, x is 300, but the y value is where x is. And then, you know, you could see something like this happen where you got two ellipses moving on the screen. You could actually divide that by 3 or something like that. You can use division to keep things. Now you notice that second ellipse actually stays on the screen. So you can do some really cool things. And you can imagine maybe trying to build a game where you have a character where you're moving on the screen. You could add a rectangle that also moves on the screen. Freestyle it. Use some different colors, try some different things, and have fun with it. We're basically trying to build a slider that shows position changing on the screen, in addition to some colors and some fun things for Freestyle Friday. All right, that's pretty much it for today. As long as you get that together, we're ready to maybe start building a project next week. Have fun, have a good weekend, and see you on the other side.